Hey, welcome to Manchild and the Yogi.
Hello.
This is Hillary Lockwood and Aaron Putnam, my hubby. We have a super special guest today, Taylor Hunt. Hi.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Yay.
So excited. So Taylor is a world-renowned Ashtanga teacher, overall amazing guy, and I want him to share a bit of his story. Also the founder of Trini Foundation, which allows people to use yoga as part of their recovery, which is extraordinary. So you guys are both in recovery, right?
And I'm proud of it.
Absolutely.
Same here.
Yeah, right?
Hell yeah.
It's interesting. People. A while ago, a guy actually that I just wanted to congratulate someone. A bunch of people were talking about it. Like, oh, it's 3 years sober. And I said, congrats. And he got very, very, like uptight about it. And I felt bad, but it's like I just wear it on my sleeve. It's like it's one of the main things that keeps me sober.
Yeah, people are dying.
Yeah, that's what I say.
You need to give some high fives.
Yeah, right. And you can have fun with it too. Someone's like, "You sure you don't want to drink?" I'm like, "I'll die." You know what I mean? Just like you make fun of it, but it's like it's true. Like,
well, and so much of that is secrets, right? It's keeping secrets, and I think no matter what,
your secrets.
Yeah, when secrets are kept, there's trouble for sure. Wear it on your sleeve; it's the best.
I want to give a shout out really quick to some of the young clients at Footprints to Recovery out there: Tony Long, Nate, Emma, Allie, Ryan, Cody. All you guys, thanks for listening in, and keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Thanks, Footprints.
Yeah.
So Taylor, tell us about Trini Foundation a bit.
Yeah, well, Trini Foundation basically is an organization that I started after my book, and it's basically that we're trying to give the skill of yoga to people that are trying to deepen or get into recovery. Yeah, and so we teach in treatment centers and halfway houses, and we taught in prisons for a little bit. But we teach like basically in all of like those kind of places, detox centers, stuff like that.
Amazing. So Hilltop is an affiliate of Trini Foundation, and I know that Dan Foster loves the program. I mean, he's gotten so involved in that whole thing. So
he has gotten really involved.
Yeah, it's beautiful and it's amazing. And
I think I asked Hilary this before. Do you have anyone in the Chicago area that you've mentored in that teaching those classes or whatever?
Her name's Melanie. Yep.
Perfect,
Yep.
because I get asked all the time, like Hillary was going to come out and volunteer once, but at the treatment center too, it's like someone to teach yoga. They want to pay and everything, and it'd be great if it was someone that was geared towards recovery.
For sure.
Because these kids are like, this lady came out and she made us be a tree for an hour. I'm like, that's not what we need.
Yeah. That stuff doesn't work. I mean, and also like what we found is that the Ashtanga method works really good for people in recovery because it helps them get into discipline and helps them get focused, and it shifts layers and makes them feel different in their body and all of this stuff. It's really powerful stuff, and I've seen it like countless times like work for people.
I need it. I gotta start.
So let's talk about
You need
that
to
a
get
little
off your
bit.
man-child ass.
Because I talk a lot. I talk a lot of shit, but in between
Every week
wanting
you
some cake.
promise to do yoga.
Listen, I finally have a little bit of a career, so I'm just like I'm trying to figure everything out. I know it would make it better. Let's not talk about me yet. I just wanted to ask one question. Yeah. Is John Frusciante from the Chili Peppers, is he an Ashtangi, do you know?
I have
know
no
anything
idea.
about his story? Sorry.
No
because
idea.
he was, they found him in Sweden after he just walked off the Chili Peppers in the late 90s, and they found him, no teeth, so addicted to heroin. And then he found yoga, and he stopped playing music, but he's on his mat. Maybe some people are so dogmatic that now he's like, I do yoga 23 hours a day or something, but he said it changed the chemistry. And
it totally changes the chemistry. I mean, how you feel about yourself, expands your awareness, gives a new perspective, and makes people feel like, to a certain sense of lightness, especially when, life is kind of bearing down on you.
I mean, I should know more about this, but both of you, I'll ask you, when... I know you can't pinpoint when the turn is. The thing is, when I'm not staring at the clock when I'm in a yoga class or something, when you break through, when it's all of a sudden you're like, wow, this is moving me. Is it just what kind of feeling? Is it all physical that breaks it open? I mean, you always tell me that you got to wait till your heart opens or these things that happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think we would answer this a little differently. So Taylor, you go first.
I mean, mine happened on the second class.
Okay.
Yeah, and really it was just me getting connected to my breath and walking in and making sure that it wasn't a competition for me and not comparing myself to other people.
Okay, yeah.
And I got done and literally at the end of it, I basically felt a big enough shift where I felt happy inside for the first time in my life.
Wow.
And I was 25 years old. And I really couldn't pinpoint the experience, why it changed from my first class, because in my first class, I totally hated it. I couldn't. I didn't want to go. I mean, I felt like a little pressured getting into the class. Like this lady was like pressuring me. But after the second class, I was like, I'm going to do this every single day because it was the first time I literally ever experienced like inner peace.
Well, I mean, like Hillary, I see her. I mean, for someone that's, been doing yoga so long, it's like you really do need it. You admit it. You're like, if she hasn't practiced,
life is really hard.
Like, I mean, because we get into something. This happens often. I'm starving because I'm a child. So by all day, I'm like, we want to eat. When are we going to eat breakfast? She's like, I can't eat until I practice. Or there's times we have to work around. But if she doesn't get her practice in, she's not very nice.
Well, that's life for us.
That's true.
Yoga
is. It's food and water.
So people's conception of like, oh, they're so but people actually that are feisty and fiery like Hillary in a good way, they need yoga to ground them. It's not like people just have it because they're already yoga.
Well, I mean, it's made me feistier too.
Yeah, right.
In certain areas. Yeah.
I've seen some of the Ashtanga stuff. It's like,
dude, we're nuts.
Crank.
We love it. We're on it. Like, yeah.
She does stuff.
So I want to explain for those of you that don't know what Ashtanga is. Ashtanga is a specific system. And it's a specific series. So it's always the same. And I think this is one way why it works really well in recovery is that it is the same every time. So that level of discipline doesn't have that feeling of surprise or shock or what's coming next, fear or, maybe anticipation doesn't have to be there because once your body knows where it's going, it just goes, it can just go. And so then the other 7 limbs can come into play. We can get out of our heads a bit, right? Get into our hearts a bit. You said that. Finally feeling that space of peace. Mine was my second class as well. Hated my first class. It was at a gym in LA. Hated it.
Did you?
It was awful.
Oh, at a gym in LA?
Yeah. I won't
You're
call
like,
out
where's
the
the bar class?
No, but I almost barfed for sure. She had us in Plow for like 900 hours. It was awful. That could be an exaggeration.
When I came back to Michigan to flirt with you and I took your class, I don't know how I survived that class. I'm telling you,
you're motivated.
Oh, so you have done yoga?
Oh yeah, I've done it. Yeah, but the thing is, this proves to me, and I know it's true. It's like it is about your willingness and your attitude. Because when I was in there trying to, make up with my old friend or talk or whatever, I was like not thinking about every second that I'm in the room. Yeah. We get together and she's like, "You're doing grumpy yoga. Get out of my room." You know what I mean? Yeah. Looking at the clock. The clock's back. I'm an hour guy right now. If I can turn that corner where I look up, I'm like, oh, it's been 87 minutes. This class was great. And then that's where I want to get. But it's not going to happen if I do yoga every 3 months.
Yeah, that's true.
It's true.
It's an everyday hustle, man.
It's an everyday hustle.
So, Taylor, you mentioned your book, but you didn't tell us the title or anything about it. Will you do that?
Yeah. So it's called Away from Darkness, and I wrote it a couple years ago. And really, it's the reason why I get to go around and travel. I mean, it kind of gave me, it was an Amazon, like, top seller or, like, or book of the week or something like that. And really, I got a lot of exposure for it.
Yeah.
It was really honest account of just what it was like to live in addiction. I mean, and the craziness. And also, I thought, like, what was really awesome about it is I was scared to death to put it out there. Like, no one ever thinks that they're going to put 314 pages of their life on, out to the public. And I mean, one of the biggest things of like the turning point for me is that I was able to talk about yoga and being kind of like rough around the edges, like a street kid, like, listening to rap music and doing all these like different things that just doesn't necessarily fit the mold of like a true yoga person.
Right.
And I am still, I mean, I kind of play both of these things all the time. I still listen to rap music. I still, I mean, and so I continue to like kind of have this journey of like almost duality with it, like these two opposite things.
Well, what I see a lot, I mean, so many different people. I have friends from different, comedy friends, and then friends that are like in the restaurant industry, and then like actors. I mean, everybody talks about yoga, that it's like kind of good for you.
Kinda.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely good for you.
It's good for you.
Like my back, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, got to do something.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, so I remember a little bit about when you came to Michigan. So I listened to like, I for me, it was like qualifying a little bit. Like I was listening to you tell your story, and then I left when you guys got physical. But, really, I just did. I remember
there was a room full of people.
But, like you mentioned that I think we're all broken differently. Like you mentioned that you came from a pretty great family or like things, and you don't know why people pick up pills or why kids get, I mean, I know for me, addiction was like definitely like I never felt comfortable in my skin. And a lot of kids have that, I think, but some are like able to like, okay, but I feel safe because I have a good home and I'm going to get through my teen years where I think nobody likes me or whatever. But I had that way into my 20s.
Yeah.
And the only thing that made it better was drinking. And then I was, blacking out and it didn't matter. I didn't know what was doing what.
Yeah. I mean, I from very, young age, I remember my family life being really happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. My dad was, did well in business, and I worked for his company for a while. I mean, I had a great upbringing. The only thing that really kind of happened is there was a divorce, and that sort of ripped me apart.
Right.
Yeah, but everything else was good. I mean, I grew up on a golf course.
Sure.
I had a moped. I got a car. My dad got me a car. I had everything that I really needed.
Yeah.
But I always felt really uncomfortable in my own skin. I never, really felt comfortable ever.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't have a conversation with someone. I really struggled with it big time.
Yeah.
And I also felt not supported, and from my mom, kind of being a little bit socially awkward as well.
Sure.
So, yeah, but I mean, other than that, I mean, it was like perfect upbringing. It was just
It doesn't really discriminate, that's for sure.
Not, no.
But I always notice, I have friends that I would call them heavy partiers or heavy drinkers, but they're well adjusted in certain ways. It doesn't mean they're going to live any longer and it's not unhealthy, but like the difference between someone that's medicating because they just got to check out, and that's why like checking out with something better. I mean, like I talk about in a bit I have about like maybe running or yoga or things. We're all trying to get a breath somehow. You know what I mean? Or some people take
deep sigh.
Yeah. Some people take deep sighs, deep breaths. Some people, smoke crack. I mean, it's true though. They're like, I need a second. Okay. Like take the edge off. Well, that's not going to take the edge off, but
right.
it just
makes it worse.
I know it's fascinating to me. And it's just, now that I've been in it a little bit here with these kids and myself, it's just, you just feel grateful sometimes. So that helps. I never knew how to be grateful, but I didn't think I was being ungrateful, but I wasn't really even focused enough to see something through even for a second.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I never thought I was going to teach yoga either.
Right.
And so I feel super blessed to be able to teach yoga, but at the time, I never thought I was going to move into that area.
It kind of creeps in, I guess, huh? I mean, you were on the acting track and you got on your mat and you're like,
yeah, we talked about that the last episode, that when my stepdad died, I just didn't want to be an actor anymore. And I had already been in my yoga practice and just, it all kind of flipped at that point. So,
right.
Yeah. So we live in both states, as we talk about all the time. So we're apart quite a bit. How do you and your wife manage? You have little kids.
Yeah.
You have 3 little kids.
FaceTime.
Yeah, I mean, we do FaceTime a lot. My wife struggles with communication, and partly because the kids are all running around everywhere.
Right.
And so it's hard to kind of pin her down. So, so she's a really strong lady. I mean, she is like...
She kind of knew the gig.
Yeah, I mean, because she saw kind of the come up, and so she knew what was happening, and it just kept on multiplying and multiplying and multiplying. At first I was doing 5 workshops. Now I'm doing 40 workshops a year. Mm-hmm. But she... it's important for us to have date night. It's important for me to have kid time.
Sure.
Whether it's just me sitting and talking to them or holding the kids. I mean, I have a 1-year-old, I have a 4-year-old, and I have a 9-year-old.
Yeah.
And so it's like
a 9-year-old's like, what is happening?
Yeah. I mean, because now all of them, with the exception of maybe the 1-year-old, is where are you going?
Where are you going, dude?
And I'm like, I'm going to Finland and Israel. And they're like, where is that? And why are you not here with us?
Yeah.
And they don't get it. And so I just make sure that, the life that I have today, which I'm very grateful for, I basically start my day at 3 a.m. in the morning, and I'm done by 9. And so, I mean, I have other businesses with regard to yoga and stuff that I still have to manage. But I mean, after 9, I can be completely present with them. Summertime, if they're home, they're not at the lake house or anything, I can be completely present with them.
Right.
And that's what I just try and do. It's hard, it comes with sacrifice. I feel like it's a responsibility to go around and teach people, and because not every teacher gets to go around and talk about how yoga got to change their life. I mean, it changes perspective, and it changes goals and where they, where you want to go with your life. But I was in the grips of addiction. I was dying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it feels like a responsibility to go around. My wife is on board with it. And, I try and do nice things for her.
For sure.
She's
Like,
freaking
Smart.
awesome.
I got some good
She's so
advice from
awesome.
a friend with, his family. Like, one for his kid, it's like he'll be on the road. He'll do Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sunday, first flight, Delta, 6 a.m., Pancake Sunday.
Yeah.
He's home. The kid looks forward to it. He looks forward to it. And like when a friend gave me good advice as well, because I was talking about managing our lives, being apart, me being on the road, her with 2 studios. And they're like, dude, when you're with her, make sure that you're with her. Like,
Yeah.
and she gets, and sometimes you got to put it down and like not, because it isn't a focus. And, and sometimes I don't realize it because she never does it to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I need to know that,
Yeah, and I get back, and this is very interesting. I get back, and I want to spend time with her, but what she really needs is a time away
She needs a
from.
break.
She
Yeah,
needs a
for
break,
sure.
and I'm like, what do you mean? Like I can't meet you later on.
What about me?
She's like,
Yeah.
no, take these 3 kids.
She's like, I'm gonna go to a meeting. Like I'm gonna go visit
Absolutely.
my friends. Like I'm gonna be like, well, hold on a second. I've been cooped up in a hotel room for the last 20 days.
So you met her in recovery. Did you meet her in one of the rooms or in yoga?
Just
Okay.
totally gave up her anonymity, but it's fine.
Oh my-
She's in the book.
Heck yeah.
She was the prettiest girl in AA.
Aw.
You
And I was
what
like,
I'm
I want
saying?
that one.
Aw.
I
I love it.
pretty
That's
good.
so cute.
Because there was a meeting or still a meeting in New York City on Friday nights at St. Anthony's Church in Soho, of all places. That place is like a nightclub. People are just like, "What's up? I got 10 years. What's up, Christina? Whatever. Just models. Whatever. It's wild. People go there. It's like that's one of the reasons when I tried to get sober in New York. I was like, "Oh, this looks good. To get sober. There's people around here." But I
Yeah.
didn't get sober. But yeah, it's definitely. I'm into the community of it too. I try to not. I mean, there's some people that are very dogmatic and only hang out with sober people and do all that. I feel like that doesn't give me perspective, and I need to be just out. I got sober to be happy, joyous, and free, like they say, and like that means that I'm just out living life, because I don't want to have more of a crutch again,
Yeah.
So I just try to look at it that way.
Go ahead, go.
Well, I mean, I feel like, for me, it's like, I don't want to hang out with yoga people.
Right.
I want to hang out with AA people because they understand me better.
Yeah, sure,
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
so it's like I got a little flipped. It's
Too much patchouli. I'm just kidding.
You know what?
lavender.
What's
La-
that?
he loves lavender. Joe. That's like his favorite.
I like lavender.
He
Patchouli.
buys lavender.
Lavender hot
Patchouli
tail.
reminds me of
hot
my
tail.
dad, and that's not good. It's how it's served to you. But no, patchouli is interesting. It's just. I heard that.
That's your
Is it kinda- I-
scent is the first smell. It triggers you immediately because it
reminds
makes you
me
smell
of
like your dad.
bologna sandwiches and neglect.
I don't wear patchouli, but so I love it.
It's
I
such
think
a
it smells
strong
good.
smell, though. I wonder if it's like the old style where people used to roll fruit up in their sleeves because they smelled so bad. Maybe it's just like this smells so strong that it'll just don't worry about anything else.
That's really gross.
Throwing mangoes
That's
up in their
gross.
shirt.
I think that's gross. Sorry.
I'm kidding.
All I think about now is rotten fruit inside laundry. Like,
This is on ships, the scurvy ships.
well, yeah, that's even worse.
Yeah, that's the.
So, we have 2 teenagers, 18 and 16.
Okay,
Yeah, just
it's wild.
buckle in.
Yeah. I'm
gets-
already
this
saving
gets
for
fun.
treatment.
Yeah, yeah. Why do you? No, it's true. It's so true.
They have college instead of a college plan. They have a treatment.
Yeah.
Like
Hey, man.
401k or whatever.
For
it is.
real. That's smart.
I'm telling you, the revolving
Absolutely
door of
smart.
it too. I mean, 26. It needs to be 26 now that I see what's going on. I mean,
do you
Oh,
mean?
for
Like,
insurance.
you can stay on your parents till you're 26 because some of these kids
Used to
wouldn't
be
have
21.
any option.
Yeah. No, I have good boys. They're good boys, but man, it's hard being a teenager.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah, I got good kids too. They're good. They're wild. 2 boys. They're wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my daughter's emotional, and I love her to death. I mean, they're great.
I used to say that it's the best circus to be in.
Yeah, I always
Because
say
it
it's the
is.
best
It's
show in
just-
town.
yeah.
Like
It's insane. It's crazy.
it is
Yeah.
crazy.
So yeah, I
Constantly
missed
busy.
out on all that. People ask me, "Did you want to have your own children?" I'm like, obviously not. I went to great strides not to have children, so I guess I'm happy with the stepchildren.
Yeah, and you're a great stepdad. You do a great job.
The easiest thing about it for me is one, I'm happy to put myself on the chopping block and be vulnerable with them because like what I say to them usually, I start off any sentence with them is like, "This is what I did, and look where it got me, and I just want to tell you," and blah blah blah, and they take that. And that's easy for me to do, and if that's what being a good parent or whatever they need is, that's great. You know what I mean? I'm like, dude, get your shit together before I did. You know
They
what I
probably
mean?
listen to you more actually.
Sometimes
Yeah.
they also,
Yeah,
but I see
that's true.
what I realized. So there was a minute when I was, because I just wanted I wanted what was best for them, but then like kids don't respond to, you got to build them up. You got to meet them where, and I actually learned this working in the recovery home, is that you got to meet them where they're at. Like if you go into someone's room and it's always a pigsty, but then they did a little bit, to them that might be like a huge thing. And you can't be like, what are you doing, you idiot? Like, because that's how I was talked to when I was a kid. My dad would be like, is there something wrong with you? You know what I mean? It was okay. It was the 70s. But now, I mean, in general, it's probably not a good way to talk to kids. Right. You need to be built up. So I try to, speak to them in a way where it's like, hey, man, I think this would be great. I know you're going through something, and sometimes it works. But they often still lie and do whatever.
Yeah.
Sure.
I basically like, I'll try and teach my daughter math or something, word problems or something, and like you can't teach her anything.
Right. Sure.
It's like, that's why I'm like, they probably like, you're like their second dad.
Right. Like, and sometimes they say really nice things, and they like. My mother-in-law had a really good point. She's like, it goes in the memory bank.
Yeah.
So I hope it is, as far as like they can look back and go, hopefully it's not like, at 3 o'clock in the morning, can I have some money or something? You know what I mean? It's like, hopefully they're just like, you've always been there for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We call him first.
They do often.
Well, the thing is, first of all, I mean, the thing that they can't get by me is like, I'll know in a hot second. I just want to make sure that I'm getting ahead of kids get left behind with with addiction and stuff. It's like, if there's anything wrong with any kid, I want to know that I was there in the beginning when they maybe needed help, instead of like, they're being good, don't bother with them, like don't ruffle the feathers or whatever, and then all of a sudden you got a problem. I see it with a lot of kids. So I'm not saying our kids are like that, but just in general, I try to listen to what they're saying.
Jordan said today, because we drove from Michigan today, he said that school is getting so difficult because every year they add more and more to like the curriculums. So one, parents don't even understand it. Like, I don't know new math. I couldn't do new math if I'm old math.
What is new math?
Exactly. You're old math.
I don't know what long division is.
Is that what the remainder?
Remainder
3.
I have no idea.
Fractions. What?
Fractions. But he's saying it gets harder and harder. So the kids they feel more and more stress. And this is where mental health is really coming in, and self-medicating, all of that, because they're feeling these crazy pressures from like middle school, because they think they know something, and then the next year they add to what they think they've known.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, and
it's
like,
too much.
My daughter's in 3rd grade, and they got her like preparing for like an exam, like a state exam.
It's like,
in
go
Ohio,
outside and play. It's like, seriously.
Yes, they need to go outside and play.
Yeah. I don't
Instead
know.
of being
there's
plugged
definitely
in.
There's definitely a lot of mental illness things going on right now.
Yeah, the more I see of it, I'm like, you trust it, and I mean, I feel like I probably needed something when I was much younger, but now I'm too old to like, I'm managing, so I don't want to be like, I have ADD, ADHD, put me on a million things. Great, I have insurance, cool. Can I have some of that? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, I don't want to do that, because I feel like it'll make me want to get high or something.
Yeah, I mean let's not do that.
let's not do that.
Let's not.
No more podcasts.
Let's not do that. It would just be
the Yogi.
It'd be silence and the Yogi.
Yogi and the other yogis.
We'd have to get a new theme song. That's very sad.
Sobriety's fragile, man.
Yeah.
It absolutely is. Well, all the time. I mean, for me, I often have to catch myself if I feel like dry, drunk, all that stuff too. It's like that's when I'm not working. Like I told her, it's like I haven't been to a meeting in a while, and that's just because I've been really busy, but I miss it. And I thought I was going to get it by helping out at the recovery home, but like that's actually just a lot of do this. Did you do this? Sign this, like drop and all. It's not about my recovery. It's like making me crazy.
Yeah.
And it makes me, because this is the thing, is that nothing against rehabs. I think they do help, but in some ways, this is my honest opinion, they're holding a nickel bag. They absolutely are, with their Suboxone and all this horse shit, gabapentin, whatever. It's like, why are you on you got nerve pain? You were doing heroin for a year. Just try not doing that and see how you feel before we put you on a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
I got nerve pain. Yeah, you got nerve pain. All right.
I had to. That's what's really interesting to me. I had to fight really hard in the emergency room to get Norco, and I was in there for 15 hours before I got actual pain medication.
Because you were in excruciating pain.
I was in excruciating pain, and they don't give it away anymore. Really recent. last month.
Yeah, because I mean, the thing is, she was already in the room for like hours, and I walked out to get something. I go, oh yeah, the sun went down, and all the zombies came to the emergency room looking for pain pills, and the heroin problem all over Ann Arbor, anywhere you go, you can tell right away that vacant look and why they're there, and they're over it. I mean, they're not even allowed to. Mm-mm. I had a doctor in New York. I don't want to blow him up because he was actually on someone's documentary too, but back in the day when I was in active addiction, I could go to him in 2009 and say, I'm a little bit nervous. He'd say, well, Aaron, we'll give you 90 Klonopin. And I was like, my hip hurts. We'll give you 97.5 per. And I left him in the washer. He was just writing script. This is right before they really nailed everyone down. And that's actually coincidentally when 3 people I knew died.
Wow.
Because 2010 is when it started, when everyone got addicted. And all the drug dealers had stuff like, hey, I got weed, I got coke, I got ecstasy, and I got Percocets.
Yeah.
They were there. And that's all she wrote.
Yeah.
In Ohio, it was in 2005.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5. I mean, heroin was huge.
Yeah.
Because there's pill mills.
Yeah. Oh, they were there.
Yeah. I mean, we had serious pill mills. And if you read the book Dreamland, which is an amazing book by Sam Kionis, he's a LA Times writer. He wrote a book about the whole epidemic. And he basically kind of outlines the whole thing. Ohio's like one of the worst states.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, I know some parts when I'm driving to New York, you go through like Lima and Dubois and all that stuff. That's kind of the outskirts of the towns where you see a lot. I can spot it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
There was our Freudian moment.
A Freudian moment.
Yeah, Freud says that like every 10 minutes, well, we went longer than that, but every 10-15 minutes there's just a drop into silence, which I really like that idea of dropping into silence.
Stopped having something to talk about?
No, processing what we've been talking about. You said something a little earlier, and I wanted to kind of bring Iyengar into the mix, which I use all his books for my teacher training, but you talked about like rehabs and what's happening, yada yada. But Iyengar says the hardest place to be yogic is to be in the world with other people, and that's where you need to be because we need to learn driving in Chicago, in the city, any city, I guess. But because being in the world is our greatest test to humanity and how we're going to treat each other and take care of each. Are we going to take care of each other? Becomes the real question.
Yeah.
And man, I hope so. Because it's really scary.
Well, because all the stuff with, you guys with the yoga, and maybe that's what I need, but like taking a deep breath, the ripple effect, like there's this book, Drop the Rock, that talks about that, where it's just like, I could yell, I could be like, you blah, 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 blah. And then that person could be so frustrated from that and then be late to pick up their son or get in a car accident or whatever. It's just us being like that all the time. Or I find it's so funny because when I'm not like that, I'm like, oh, see, I'm calm. But it's like, I'm not always like that. The airport and stuff. I mean, when you see the person acting out, or when you get after me, when you're like, are you really doing this right now?
No, the phrase I say to him is, I really would love it if you learned to behave in public.
And I say, they don't think I said that because who would say that in public? That's all I get away with saying. Like, did he just say that? No, he didn't.
That's when you back it up with, he's a comedian.
Oh, yeah. They're like, oh, yeah, comedians.
But people are always like, but is he funny in real life?
I remember that I worked.
Or is he just funny on stage?
I worked with this Scottish guy, and he saw a stand-up show one night. He's like kind of a big boozer, but like just very like. He goes, "It's a shame I was born a peasant. My name is Brian or whatever." But one day, some comic, and he goes, "I wish you would, you stand-up comics would sit down and shut the fuck up," because he was just like he find it funny because the guy was kind of like whatever messing with him. He was not having it. Not a lot of most people don't like stand-up comics.
I love them.
Yeah. I love them too.
We'll be in your town soon. I'll let you know about that show.
Yeah. All right. So I do think that we should wrap up because we have a busy night tonight.
Yes.
Taylor is workshopping tonight and tomorrow. We have 2 workshops tomorrow. So go to hilltopyoga.com. You can still sign up. If it doesn't let you, just come in. I'll get you in. And what else? We have a lot going on. Well,
let me see. Well, week off next. But no, I have Laugh Factory Tuesday night, the 16th, Comedy Bar on Monday. Also, we're going to be in LA. We're going to record at the world famous Comedy Store. That's going to be fun.
Yeah. And we have some awesome guests.
Yeah,
as
a big surprise guest on the yoga, and I won't spoil it. It's not Louis or something.
Don't spoil.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Taylor, wait. What do you have going on? Where are you next?
Yeah, it put me on the spot. So I'm going to Mexico, Monterrey, Mexico, I'm also going to San Jose, California, so I'll be there.
Heck yeah.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Taylor.
Babe, I'm bored with you.
I'm bored with you.
I love you.
I love you too.